To the what you call it, the Attorney General.
Yeah.
What do I send? The U.S. Attorney, not Attorney General.
I see there's 20 new messages on the Yahoo group site. I can't get in right now. My computer is doing an update of 7 of 19, so I gotta wait a while before I can even get into there and look at documents. I guess there's some new stuff on there. It said 20 new messages when I started to go there.
Yeah, I think it's mainly the stuff with the new tax lien information.
Tax liens, you said?
Yeah, from the information from last week's call.
Yeah.
Or Sunday's call.
Are you on speakerphone too or something?
No, I'm just talking into my phone.
Oh. Is it a cell phone?
Yes.
Oh, no wonder. Cell phones, you can't tell if somebody's saying bone, zone, chrome, or foam. You know, you can't hear it.
Yeah.
It makes its own consonants. Plus, all these calls that they're like put into optics, and the dead space between voicing, they put other conversations in it. So you get chopped when you're calling. You get chopped like right before you talk, right as you begin to talk, and even when the next guy begins to talk, it gets chopped.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like it's splitting the bandwidth or something like you're saying.
Yeah, they are. They can get like 150 calls on one little fiber optic, or 200 calls on one fiber optic. And everybody's voice is all identified, and your modulated voice is like, that's a channel 1, and then your voice is channel 2, and then somebody else's call, and everybody's voices all gets modulated and identified, and it gets chopped. Gets pushed into the same sausage.
Okay, it's Patrick. I'm on the line now.
Okay.
Now what we've looked at, okay, all of these instruments that we have are a lien documents, okay, like the driver's license, the certificate of title to your vehicle, the certificate of title to your house, the Social Security card, Medicare, you name it, even certificate of live birth. They're a lien documents, ALIEN. Okay, and we have to perfect that a lien. And basically, we're going to confirm or validate those documents when we do the perfecting the lien. That's all there is to it. And basically, they gave us, we gave a letter of credit, and they gave us in return a lien against those items. And we can come in and claim the tax from those liens. Okay, and that's what we have to come in and put those in to claim those liens out here. Everything is basically operated as a tax in this country. Okay, and we have to go through, for the vast majority of it, through the IRS. Okay, that's basically where the IRS Treasury Department is basically the Just Credit Trust Exchange trustee, not the Justice Department. All three the trustees are located over around the Treasury Department. So you have the IRS Treasury Department, okay, as the Just Credit Trust Exchange trustee. You have the United States Treasury Department as the Credit Treasury Storage trustee. And then you have the U.S. Department of the Treasury as the Credit Delivery trustee. And when you do, and we would be doing for like the Foreign Grantor Trust, but you have to have all three EINs here first. Okay, the Foreign Grantor Trust EIN, your Estate EIN, and your Individual Banker EIN. Okay, so if you were to take one of your certificates of live birth, you would do a endorsement. I'm working on the U.S. of A. Treasury Trust banknote tax a lien draw. Okay, and we will put that in against that certificate of live birth, okay, as our tax a lien document. Put the value on it, and that will be going in against the Foreign Grantor Trust 98 Series EIN person. That will be the name that's on the 1041 form. Okay, the 1041 form is a trust or estate tax return. The fiduciary is going to be our individual banker when we fill that out. Very much like what I had before there, we would only primarily be doing line 20, I think it's 23E in the process. Let's see if I got it here. Yeah, we would mark come in for federal tax, income tax withheld, and we would fill out 23E, okay, and then total it in 24F or H, and then total payments, we would add, well, no, that's, let me see this, 24E, and then 25, we would total up there. Everything else mostly on that form is going to be zero. And then tax overpayment, we would fill out 28 and 29 with the same value. Sign it as the fiduciary and put our individual banker's EIN as our fiduciary financial fiduciary's number, okay? We're coming in under a financial institution to sign this. And then we would submit that in. We would also do a 8302 form and have that either directly deposited into like our Treasury Direct or our Direct Express card, or if you have a local bank account, you would have it transferred to there. Now, the 8302 form is for over $1 million. So if you put in a claim for more than $1 million, they need to do a direct deposit. If it's less than that, they will send you a check. And then you can do whatever you want to with it. Now, the same thing goes for your Social Security account at the Federal Reserve Bank, but you would do that under your estate. Like in my case, the Patrick Devine estate and the Estate EIN number. And then I, as the individual banker, would still be the fiduciary. Patrick Devine, individual banker, fiduciary. Okay. And then fill out the same thing and go down there and put in a charge and then sign it as the individual banker fiduciary. Take a copy of, on that one, you take a copy of your Social Security card, and on the back do a special endorsement. Okay. See if I got that up here. I had this saved. There it is.
Go get my phone.
We would be doing a estate, a lien validation and confirmation by special endorsement against the Social Security account. And then we would endorse the back of that page and then fill out one of these bills that I had there as a draw against that Social Security account. So I'll be putting the package up there as soon as I get this sort of all roomed up to process this through. Now, what we have in the courts, basically, we're still going to have to go through there because all these courts are tax courts in actuality. Now, one thing that I did post up there today was called a notice to all law enforcement officers. Okay? And this is basically if the warrant orders or other court order documents you serve or process do not have an official court seal on them, then they are not valid. If there's not a raised embossment for that document under seal, it is invalid. It's a fraud. And basically, don't argue with the cop because basically they don't know this. You just give them that item and basically let them go about their duty. But you've notified them that basically that document is a fraud and that basically anything that they're going to do now is you're going to come after them in the background, okay, after the fact. Because under seal of court, the definition, you can look this up in the Valentine's Dictionary or any of the other dictionaries, an instrument authenticate, okay, and then under official seal, okay, a seal affixed to a document must be capable of making a distinct and uniform impression upon the paper. A seal in the form of a scroll of a pen, meaning a signature, does not fulfill the requirements of an official seal. The thing is that most of these courts are basically, they can't put an official seal on this because they're not an official court. They're an invalid court, really, when it comes down to it. They're an imposter. And see, if they were to put that seal on it, then basically they are putting their necks on the line. So they don't put the seals out there, and they get the cops thinking that just by their signature, these are valid documents, and then if the cop goes out there and serves that, basically then the court is off the hook. they're not responsible for the liability of the actions of the police any longer. See, these attorneys will cover their ass in any which way they can. And that's the same way in a lot of cases that all bankers do. They cover their ass and basically let somebody else do the dirty work for them. Now, if a cop gets killed, basically in the process of serving a warrant, the damn court ought to be the one, if he's serving a warrant that does not have an official seal on it, that court should be charged for manslaughter, aiding and abetting in the manslaughter. And basically be held liable for any payment to the loss of that officer to his family members. I'm going to make the sheriff here aware of that because basically one of the deputies got killed here. Of course, the guy that killed him also got killed. But to put onto the court because they set out that cop without the official recognition that he was supposed to have. And that court basically sent him out there. I mean, they could have picked up the guy just about like the what's his name down in Waco. Any time while he was in town, unarmed. But no, these courts don't give a shit. Also, basically, you have to validate that court when you go into that courtroom. You give validation or confirm that court being a valid court. You have to come in there and say, I do not validate and I do not confirm you being a valid court. Because otherwise they will take it just by your being there as being implied that you have validated that court as being a valid court. You are an American trustee, okay, by either naturalization or by birth. As an American trustee, you stand over the government. The government is just a trust, a banking trust that is there for the benefit of the people. This fraudulent, copyrighted 1871 United States Trust Corporation is a complete fraud. It's a complete different religion. All these codes of law, just like the Roman Catholic Church with the canons of law, they established a false religion. Yeah, why are all these canons of law for the has a bunch of canons of law? The Anglican Church has a bunch of canons in their system too. Canons is just another word for a damn code of law. Coming out with a moral issue. And that's what all these codes of law are basically trying to morally legislate what you can and what you can't do. And that's against the First Amendment of the Constitution. That the government, the initial banking trust government, shall not establish a religion. And the religion is a control over your morals. Okay? Your understanding of what right and wrong is. Now you got to understand where the moral law breaks down. Molesting a small child, basically that is not a moral issue. That is a trespass. that is a harm, that is against nature. That people, good-hearted people, get these damn things totally screwed up, and then they go off half-cocked because they don't know how to think for themselves, and they let somebody else try and tell them how to think. That's why all you people go to church and stuff, to let somebody else tell you what to think and do. So, basically, I will be putting up a couple packages covering going after our stuff with the IRS and getting funds out of those accounts. I put up a package there for the U.S. tax court. Okay? You can go in and basically, if you can't download the files, you can go into the U.S. tax court and download everything off of there. You get a tax notice, okay? That tax, and the IRS has been trying to tell us this for years. Those tax notices are basically notices that they have taxes waiting there for us to pick up. All we have to do is claim them. But see, everybody misreads that tax notice of lien, okay? Because basically what they gave us was a lien document. We have to come in and claim those taxes back. Because we have to basically do a perfecting of the lien. Okay? Definition: perfecting lien, the filing or service of a notice of a mechanic's lien. Okay, that doesn't apply. The completion of the creation of an lien, A-L-I-E-N, so that it will be effective against the creditors of the lienee in his bankruptcy. The state of whatever, the United States out here, and basically all these banks and everything, they are the lienee, and they are operating in bankruptcy. We are the creator. By our signature, we created that document, that lien. We gave a signature letter of credit in the form of basically bonding their services in the process, leasing our assets to them as collateral, so they are a lienee or a tenant of our items, and they owe us the rent. And they gave us back in return not a bond, but they gave us a lien, a liening instrument, an lien, A-L-I-E-N, instrument. And we have to come in and perfect that lien. You need to look at these definitions, okay? That's what you people really need to start doing, is looking at a lot of these words. I know it's confusing sometimes, but you got to copy them down, put them in a format, look at them, study them. We are not the taxpayer. Our dead person is the taxpayer. But we can come in his behalf and put a taxpayer's action into place. You look up taxpayer's action. Okay? You can read the definition about it. It's a maladministration. In most cases, when these courts are creating an illegal debt. That traffic ticket is an illegal debt that they're creating. And then they're operating with illegal expenditures of public monies. You're the public also. So you have taxpayer action. You also have trustee action. In a bankruptcy, you basically terminate being the beneficial owner and basically being the beneficial grantor to these foreign trusts. Now you come in as the trustee. You purge the public trustee out of the system, and you become the official trustee. Yeah, see, we stand over these guys. So we become the official trustee. They're just basically a trustee in bankruptcy out there. Let's see, what the hell is it? Trustee. Under the constructive trust, yeah, they're a trustee malefacto, okay? Trustee from wrongdoing. A trustee of a trust arising by operation of law from a wrongful acquisition. That's what that U.S. trustee is. He's a trustee ex facto. But we're letting them get away with being the trustee in our bankruptcies. We need to come in as the official trustee. Then we can order that court to basically process our orders. You can read the trustee action. Trustee of express trust. And we are basically the truster, the maker or creator of a trust. When you start looking at these words, you'll start seeing and understanding a little more, okay? And until you get to the proper understanding, you're gonna screw it up, okay? And then most people go into court and they talk too damn much. They get you to talking. You always finish your statement with a question. Ask them, do you have a Social Security card? Do you have a bar card? That basically, if that court issues an order, say basically, I don't see any official seal on this order. Is this court not a court of record? And all courts of record are supposed to, when they issue an order, are supposed to have that issued out under a court seal, an official seal, not just a signature. Why isn't this document, if it's supposed to be an official court document, why is it not under a seal? Is this court operating in fraud? And basically, let them know. You can purge yourself of any contempt. The living can forgive, okay? And therefore, you can purge yourself of any contempt charge that this fraudulent banking court has if they try and charge you with contempt. And then if they overstep their bounds, they're going to be held liable. See, you've got to get some of these things on the record. and that will back that court off right away. They won't harm you. Now, some of them are arrogant as hell. Some are dumber than rock. Okay, you can't. Dumbness, basically, yeah, you may get hurt in the process. But just go until basically you can get the right people on your side. And basically, the right people are the inspector generals. All of the inspector generals, the Justice Department inspector general, the Treasury Department inspector general, the tax IRS inspector general, the Postmaster inspector general, the Social Security inspector general. See, everything out here basically that is associated with like the driver's license, whatever. Basically, the inspector general is over the Social Security, and almost all of those other instruments that are operated out there are tied to your Social Security number. They're using your access with that Social Security number to access your funds that are held in the Federal Reserve Bank. So the Social Security Inspector General is involved, people. You have to call upon them and claim the fraud that these other people are using out here. It's all banking fraud, and it's all tax fraud, too. Have you ever gotten a 1099-B for a traffic ticket or any other court instrument that you put out there? No. Have you ever got a 1099-B or any 1099 against your certificate of title to the property? Why? You should be getting a yearly 1099 stating how much money you are owed from that instrument. I've said this before, okay? And so now I know where to go and put the complaint in to the IRS Inspector General or to this Treasury Inspector General for tax administration. You claim the fraud there. I try to go directly to the Attorney Generals and say, hey, where's my 1099-Bs? Where's the 990 form? Basically stating the return that basically I should be getting from these accounts. I just flat got ignored, that I didn't know where I needed to go and put my claim in. And it was to the Treasury Inspector General for tax administration, and also to the Social Security Inspector General. When you come in and claim fraud and you know the fraud, then you can claim the fraud. You can back up your claim. But if you can't back it up, then you can't claim it. So, right now it's open line. Start asking questions. Tom's not on the line tonight. He's going to Montana. So basically, when I terminate this, basically I'll be the one terminating the call. I don't know whether it'll be saved or not. So anybody got any questions, ask them. *6, unmute yourself if you're muted. Because I don't have the controls to mute you out.
I know you posted some new documents there. I can't access to it yet.
I know. I heard you there on the start of the call.
Yeah. So, I've been taking notes all this call.
should be able to find some of those documents in e-concurrent or over, if Tom posted them over on the We the People site also.
Oh yeah, I'll find them. It's just my computer froze up. It wanted to do updates. Yeah, I understand you. You stress the importance of understanding the definitions, writing them down, knowing them really well, backwards and forwards, and what the different ones are. And then,
yeah, see those traffic tickets you get.
Understanding the fraud, that's all.
Traffic tickets, whatever, they are liens, and basically you signed on the bottom of those. You gave an appearance bond. In some states, they haven't figured out how much the appearance bond is supposed to be. Well, that's the letter of credit value that you're giving for that ticket when you sign that document. They just gave you, and they gave you that ticket as a lien document. You have to come in and claim by perfecting that a lien to claim that bond back and settle the matter. All of your receipts are tax a lien receipts.
Yeah, a lady from the court called me up and asked me when I was going to pay it, and I said, send the bonds over and I'll sign them. She
You've
goes,
got the traffic tickets.
And I go, well, send the bond over. She hung up on me.
No, you've got the traffic tickets.
Yeah, I have to learn
that. That is what you need to place your endorsement, your special endorsement on the back, that you are coming in and you are doing a validation and of this a lien for settlement.
Right.
And that basically the traffic ticket is supposed to take out so much for their charges, and you want the rest of the residue back from that bond, that appearance bond.
Right.
And if not, you will inform the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, because everything out here is about a tax. And see, these courts are not paying their taxes either.
So, Patrick, in Pennsylvania, when we go to traffic court, they make us sign the back of the ticket and hand it to them.
Yeah.
So it's already endorsed and paid, and they're double dipping. So all the way through.
You've got to put a special endorsement on the back of that ticket to where you claim back the residue. Otherwise, you are giving the whole bond of appearance over to them. Look, like in the state of Iowa here, the bond, the appearance bond, is always more than the charges. Basically, we gave them a letter of credit draw against the Social Security funds that we have there, drawing out more than basically what the traffic religious moral ticket is, and that's all it is. It's basically like a Presbyterian or a Methodist or a Roman Catholic or a Jehovah's Witness moral charge. As an American trustee, driving without a license, not registering your car with the state, is your prerogative. It's only when you join these goddamn bastardized religions, moral religions, that you have to pay out of your ass. And that's all that this damn codes of law is all about. It's moral. It's a total new religion for the devil. And basically, you can, if Steve wants to post that to the site or whatever, have that posted, you can post that up, that document about Lucifer there that you sent to me last week, Steve.
Yeah, I posted that on the Skype group.
Yeah. And see, that's all they are. They're a religious organization. They're working for Lucifer, the devil, which is the bankers.
Tricking you.
All the way back. No, it's not Krishna. It's basically all the way back to the Garden of Eden with Eve getting the damn frying pan off the tree of knowledge and signing up for a damn bank account.
Yep.
So, Patrick, in your opinion, everything we did with the court was correct, right? And it should have worked if they were in honor.
Yes.
And,
but we had to get them into a court of equity, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's what even the court order that I got back from the judge basically did not have a seal on it. And I sent that notice back to him that this is not a valid order. Never heard anything back from him. But basically, I won't stop there. I'll keep going and basically put fraud into the inspector generals.
Okay,
I'm trying to get this other.
We're just simply building a case by continuing on the tax front. But we've already perfected everything that we had to do, but we're just going back and saying, well, if you're not going to do it as a judicial trustee, then okay, I'm going to take these steps here, which you could have done, you should have done by your orders. I'm going to make sure it happens anyway.
Yeah. See, they took out basically the alien property custodian, okay?
Who's that?
A lien property custodian away from the Department of Justice, and they moved it over to the IRS Treasury Department, okay, for just exchangement. And then for us to come in and claim our estate taxes and our trust taxes, our inheritance tax, which is basically the Foreign Grantor Trust one. That is a trust tax. It's an inheritance tax that we're going to claim against the de jure Treasury. The other will be an estate tax. We don't owe these taxes. The taxes are owed to the federal government. We, the people, are the superior part of the federal government. We stand over them, okay, of the banking government. We basically, when we come of age, we are an American principal, electoral trustee. And the trustee is the one that has the power. And when we come of age, and that was at the age of 21, we were supposed to be an electoral. We are the legislature of our persons. So basically also legislative actions come into place.
And we already have that on the record through our court case that we have that authority
Wireless. The wireless
as the
customer
electoral
you called
trustee.
Is not available at this time. Please try your call again later.
Well, we put some of that into that court document, yes.
-1.
Okay. And no one objected
Welcome
to it,
to
so
Verizon
it's
Wireless.
on the record.
The wireless customer you called is not available at this time. Please try your call again later. Announcement 1. Switch to 222-1.
I don't know who's trying to call in. Yeah, legislation. The product of a legislative body. In law, laws made. The process of making laws. Legislation looks to the future and changes existing conditions by making new rule to apply and thereafter to all or some of the part of those subject to its powers. for the 9th and 10th Amendment. We have rights and powers. We can legislate what rights and powers we have, except for those that we gave to the bank, to that governmental bank, constitutional bank. And we gave them very limited powers. They could not infringe upon our individual rights. But this fraudulent, copyrighted United States Bank Trust has, by getting you to become a member of a false religion. That's the game. Yeah, you signed up with another church. You just didn't realize it. You may be a member of the Baptist or the Presbyterian or the Jehovah's Witness, but you're also a member of the United States religion, banking religion, a total devil's worship. And really, basically, almost all religions are devil worship religions. Because they're there for somebody else's gain and benefits, not for you.
Yeah, even when you say hallelujah, like most Christians do, you're saying halle means devil, and Yah is hallelujah, it means God. You're saying devil's the God when you say hallelujah.
You're worshiping the devil.
Right.
Halloween.
Yep.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
It's a good call, though. It's nice and short, but it's got good info when it gets us back onto the center line of what we're doing.
And I'll try and get these posted up here tomorrow. I hope try and have them finished up tonight. Finish working documents. And I'll send you the forms and everything that you sort of need to take. We will have to come back in and we'll have to do a Form 56F for our Estate EIN person and for our Foreign Grantor Trust person, making our individual banker the fiduciary over those. The first time we send those forms in, the 1041 into Cincinnati or into Ogden, Utah, we will have to put those Form 56s in there with them, showing that you have the fiduciary authority. Okay?
Yeah.
And then basically the 8302, okay? If you're going to put it for more than $1 million charge, you've got to have some place to put it, either Treasury Direct or a Direct Express debit card out of the Department of Treasury, or you have a commercial bank account. And basically, if you're going to have a commercial bank account, you set it up under your individual banker's EIN number, because it's going to be a non-tax or tax-exempt, non-profit, and not-for-hire account. You will pay usage fees, monthly usage fees, or check writing fees, whatever, to use that account. But they will set that up if you ask them.
Patrick, do you think it would be cleaner to just go in and take the Treasury Direct form and just get a Treasury Direct account?
You can try that, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said. You can get a Treasury Direct account or a Direct Express card. Okay? And most of the time you have to be receiving Social Security benefits to get that one. But you can also ask them in the Treasury if they would issue you a Treasury Direct card.
Okay.
especially after you get one of these transactions processed. They will be more than likely more reluctant to give you one, okay, when you show that you know what you're doing.
Okay, so you're saying we should do our first draw for under $1 million?
Well, you can get a check if it's under $1 million, but if it's over $1 million, you need to do the 8302 form.
Right.
It's got to be electronically transferred.
Okay. But we can't use any of our existing accounts that are open right now.
Well, if you have a commercial bank account that's open right now, use it, okay? You can always shut it down later.
Okay. Because like, when you say commercial, you just mean a personal, like, checking account.
I mean just open a W8.
I mean a public bank commercial account that they are using your assets when you deposit them in there.
Mm-hmm.
See, you deposit money into that commercial bank. Your money goes into an off-budget account. They turn around and do a banker's acceptance and draw the funds out of the Federal Reserve Bank in the process, and then they write bonds against that value of the assets that are sitting off budget, so that they can make a profit off of your dumbness.
Right, and every time you write a check, they're drawing it off of the FDIC insurance as well, and that's getting monetized in the mix somewhere too.
Yeah, it's all banking fraud. And see, does that bank give you a statement of what your taxes are that you should be paying or you should be receiving so that you can put a tax claim in against that? No.
For the usage of our assets.
Yeah, because basically, who's the one that's getting paid? The mortmain person. That's who they need to send the tax form to, or it goes into the shit can, because that mortmain person's a dead person. So, yeah, they're filling it out, sending it to them, but they're not going to fill it out and send it to the IRS and report themselves that they owe a tax.
So how far back does that fraud extend? Does it go all the way back to day one, Patrick?
It goes all the way back to basically when you signed the damn Social Security account.
And that's why we want to get them to look in the TT&L accounts for us, because
you're not going to get all that back, okay? You're going to get what basically is sitting there right now. Forget about the revenge, okay? You just go and get what's in the account right now. But you can terminate the damn certificate of title to your vehicle, your driver's license, and your certificate of title to your house at the state level. Hit the Attorney General and basically the Secretary of State up. Terminate those. There are liens. You have to come in and perfect your lien against those documents and terminate them. Let the IRS or let the Secretary of State and let the Attorney General of the state know that you're going to call in the Treasury Inspector Generals in the process, or the Social Security Inspector General, or the CID, the IRS Inspector General. And those state officials are scared to death of the CID.
Criminal Investigation Division, it's called?
Criminal Tax Investigation Department, yes.
Criminal Tax Investigation Department. Okay.
And see, the FBI is also another agent that deals in banking fraud.
Right, you said that.
The Postmaster General of the Post Office deals in mail fraud. And basically, all of these instruments, normally that these guys are sending out, are through the mail. So it is mail fraud also is involved. Everything that these corporate fraudulent bankrupt trusts do is fraud. That's the only way that they can exist is by fraud.
Right, and whenever funds are transferred, they always charge people with wire fraud.
Yeah, they try and turn around and use it against us, but they're the ones that are really committing the fraud.
Yeah.
But see, too many people out here got trying to do the OIDs and these other things about trying to go out and put bonds into place. All you have to do is come in and claim your liens. Your liens that are out here. You can get as many certificates of live birth as you want. Those are all a lien claiming documents. You can print out as many copies of your Social Security card and do an endorsement on the back of it for so much value. Put a claim in as a lien draw against that Social Security account. CD 214. Yeah, if you get that DD 214, you put it on file at the county records. When you go into the county recorder's office, you get that validated. You also get it under the official seal of that county recorder's office. They will put the raised embossment on that. You go over to the clerk of the court and you ask for something, and they're not going to put their seal on it 9/10 of the time. Because they're totally operating in fraud. That's why all they have is bar attorneys in that fraudulent court system. Because they're banking frauds.
So how long do you think it takes to process one of these?
I don't know yet. Okay? Should be 5 banking days after delivery. 5 tax banking days, if not sooner.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
Yeah, it'd be sweet when we finally get these things done right. But it's been a long time trying to figure out how to do these things right because they've had it hidden so well away from us in the process. And then nobody ever picked up the phone and claimed fraud with the inspector generals. For well over 6 months, I've been telling people on this call to use the Social Security Inspector General. Alleged the fraud that they're using your Social Security account fraudulently. Even all these property sheriff sales, okay? The sheriff, basically, if they sold the property, get a copy of that document that basically told the sheriff to sell that property. more than likely you're going to find out that there is no court seal, official seal on that document. So it was a fraudulent sale all along. The court was coming in and usurping. They are an usurper. And then the person that bought the place is an usurper also, under usurpation. The property belongs to you. You have to fight for it. But fight the right way. Jesus, Daniel, all the prophets, Moses, did they fight with the sword? No, they fought with the word. The words, and basically all the words is basically sword stilled backwards. That is the double side of the sword, is words. Okay, anybody else have any comments, questions, whatever? Okay, I'm going to terminate the call. Good night, people.
Bye.
Thanks, Patrick. Good night.